Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the RLCS. We're finally back with Major number 2, North America qualifier number 4. I'm very excited for this. If you don't know who I am already, I'm Shu. I am a Rocket League statistician and analyst, and I've been doing decently well. I will say that I made a top 16 ranking before this, and 13 of my top 16 made it. Granted, Dignitas didn't make it. That's a pretty big one, but I put them as 11th, and they lost to NRG. So I think that's still pretty good. Not gonna lie. I think it's still pretty good. And then, yeah, I mean, I left out a couple teams. Cheers made it. Netherlameric Canada made it. That is a hard one to say. Net. We're going to call them Net from now on. But this should be pretty fun. Basically, today I'm going to be predicting the entirety of this regional. I've gotten a lot of feedback from the past that a lot of people like to also see the bracket predictions. So that is what we will be doing. We'll be doing both Swiss and bracket, but be warned that the bracket's going to be very off of the final predictions. And so I will be doing bracket predictions for Sunday or for Saturday, hopefully. So these ones are temporary, just to let you guys know how I'm feeling. Anyways, let's start this off pretty hot, pretty fast. 3-0 for G2, 3-0 for Gen G. These ones don't need any possible explanation. They just don't. And then Luminosity, I'm going to give 3-1 over Net. I think that Net could actually get like a little upset here. Not a full series upset, but just a couple games to help with their game differential. Daunt and Taroko on this team have made a regional before, and they could have made the other two if it was not for them playing Shopify Rebellion and OG in their bottom qualifying match. And then Justice deserves credit too. He's been doing a pretty good job in Europe before coming over to North America for his education. And he's been doing pretty well in the collegiate scene this semester. So wouldn't be surprised if they get a game or two off Luminosity, but Luminosity should take it anyways. Then we have OG over Deleted XD, and this is where things are going to start getting hot. I have Deleted XD actually winning this series, which is a bit of an upset, but hear me out. Hear me out. OG and Deleted XD have played twice before. They are 1-1, so they're pretty even. OG won in the qualifier 3 double elimination, but Deleted XD won in qualifier 2, the one where OG had to reverse sweep the Swiss bracket. Deleted XD was the team that beat them in that round 2 lowers. So Deleted XD have done it before. And OG are yet to win a round 1 match. OG always starts off slow. Okay, I'm not going to say always starts off slow. They played Gen G 2 of the 3 times. And then they got upset in the third one. So I mean, playing Gen G twice is not, yeah, but they're yet to win it, and I think that trend is actually going to continue despite their better seeding. Now, TSM against Snowmen. Snowmen are actually known for upsetting teams in the Swiss. They've beaten Plot Twist, which debatably wasn't a upset, but yeah. Deleted XD, ironically, and Shopify Rebellion. However, Snowmen's most recent performance was in Qualifier 3, where they swept the bracket, going 3-0 in Swiss. They beat M80 in that quarterfinals and getting a semifinal finish, losing to G2. Their only loss in Qualifier 3 was to G2 in the semifinals. That's why I think TSM are going to win it, but I actually think it's going to be really close. I think Snowmen are going to take a couple games off, make it really tight, and TSM will really have to work for that win. Then we have M80 versus Cloud9. Cloud9's first time in the RLCS since, what was that, 2019, I want to say, 2019, maybe 2018? I'm trying to remember. I don't actually fully remember. But I do have M80 winning this. I honestly, I have no idea. Cloud9 actually has the head-to-head over M80, but M80 always performed in Swiss, so I'm just going to leave that there. Space Station against Shopify Rebellion, another super close match. This is going to be a tough one, but SSG are actually up 2-0 against Shopify Rebellion this season. Both of them going to Game 5. Why not do it again? Honestly, I could see Space Station even taking this in 4. I think Shopify I think that there might be some chemistry issues for Shopify starting off because they were planning on actually removing Justin from the roster in favor of Andy, but then didn't go through with it. So I think that could be in the back of their minds, but they're also professional enough that it shouldn't make too much of an issue for them. Then Moist against NRG, where I'm actually going to have yet another upset with NRG actually winning it. I think that NRG are actually up on the rise with their pickup of Aqua from Muffin Men. I think that Garrett and Mist were doing really well in Major 1, honestly. And they actually managed to have a higher rating of my rating system than Moist. Granted, I think that could be because of the fact that NRG played less series. Because Moist did play more series, that meant that they always had quarterfinal matchups, which they lost. That could be a big factor of the ratings, but they're currently 1-1 in series against each other. I think NRG have what it takes to win it. Okay, now we can go a little bit faster. The round 1 matchups, because they're so concrete, because, they're going to happen, I like to put a lot of time into them, but everything else, we don't have to put as much time in. G2 is just going to win. Gen G is just going to beat NRG. Fun fact, this is Gen G's and NRG's first time playing each other all season. Just fun little fact. Luminosity, I'm actually going to say lose to Space Station. I like Luminosity more. I think SSG is the better team. SSG won in Qualifier 2, but Luminosity did actually win in Bandit's Fall Showdown number 5. That was a while ago, granted, in the offseason, but it was the same teams. I do think SSG is just the better team, though. And then AMAD versus TSM. It's a replay of the Qualifier 3 quarterfinals, and this time I think MAD is going to win it. It's the Swiss difference, and MAD shouldn't be losing that immediately after being warmed up by Cloud9. So I think that MAD should have that. Then OG versus Cloverity. OG should win. Moist versus Cheers. Moist definitely should win that. Rebellion should sweep that, honestly. And then Snowman versus Cloud9 is actually going to be a lot closer, but I do have Cloud9 winning that. I think everything is fairly standard so far. I don't think I've had anything too crazy. And sorry, Space Station, but I have you playing G2 again. And every time that SSG plays G2, they lose in 4. So I'm just going to say they lose in 4. That makes it pretty easy. And then Gen G against M80 again. Can they beat the curse? No, they cannot. I'll have M80 winning this. I think it's funny, but Gen G realistically could beat M80 at this point because they're looking a lot better. When they in qualifier 3 and in the major, they actually had a different play style. Before, they had a pretty standard play style: first man, second man, third man. But with First Killer integrating more into the roster, they had a mix of like a balanced roster to where all 3 players were putting an equal amount of stats, as well as more aggressiveness. They were a very aggressive team at the major, and that showed. So I expect that to actually help them a lot against M80 if they can keep that kind of play style. Then we have Luminosity against Cloud9. I'm just going to say Luminosity in 4. TSM versus Moist. I have Moist winning. By the way, Moist, if you aren't caught up, which I would expect you are if you're watching my video, Moist is Pirates on a Boat of Andy, 5UP, and Eris. And then Cloud9 is the Omelet roster of Lionblaze, Zinio, and Percy. Just in case you weren't caught up on that, that should help. Energy against OG. I actually have Energy winning this. I think that OG got a bit lucky. Not gonna lie, I think OG got a bit lucky. I think that they have a favorable matchup against Luminosity, and that is the only reason why they made the major. Granted, I do have OG still decently high up there because of their results. I think NRG will probably get a couple of upsets, in all honesty, is my thoughts. And then Delete XT against Shopify. Shopify should honestly sweep that. Then Snowman should sweep. By the way, Cloverity is now cold. That was just like decided at midnight last night or something. And then Netherlands America against Cheers. Cheers, I'm gonna give it to you. I think that Cam and Kofer is a better roster. Not much more I can really say there. So Cam, if you're watching this, You're welcome. And then we have Genji against Moist. I'm going to actually say 3-2. It's going to be pretty close. Moist is a good roster. So that should be good for them. And then SSG, I have 3-1 against NRG. And Rebellion, I have 2-3 against Luminosity. Luminosity, I still have in the top 4. In all honesty, I think Luminosity is a really good team. But I think that Shopify are getting their footing at this point. They should be 2 sweeps, especially if they get Net and Delete XP beforehand. Should be a very close series. Then OG against Cheers. Cheers, sorry guys, you're out. Delete XT against Snowman. I actually have Snowman upsetting here to get the Swiss lower bracket run to round 5. TSM against Cloud9. That's actually a tough one. I'm sorry for Cloud9 because they could have made it with a little bit more luck or a better game differential. And then we have round 5 where Shopify against TSM. TSM have only played Shopify once. And TSM managed to sweep that. It's not going to be as pretty, but I do think TSM are going to get that again, getting top 8. Then Moist against OG. I actually am going to have Moist winning this. Weirdly enough, okay, so when I had made my top 16 for North America preseason, I had put OG at number 5. I don't know why, but I'm really not feeling it now. That's just, it's one of those ones where I'm not feeling it. I think OG probably 7th now in my mind, below M80 and Pirates on a Boat, aka Moist. I don't know why. There's nothing to really define why OG wouldn't do as well, but I have them doing worse, which is probably my mistake. And then Energy against Snowman. Energy, congratulations, you guys make it to top 8. Now let's go ahead and take a look at that bracket that we have now just made. And would you look at that? Space Station don't have to play Gen G for once. That's crazy. That's mind-blowing. It would have sucked if that happened again. But it didn't. Now we can go ahead and we're just gonna go super fast through this. This is basically just, hey, who do I think is the better team right now? G2 beat NRG. The series score really doesn't matter. I have SSG beating Luminosity in 7. TSM and M80 play again. I actually am going to have TSM winning again purely for the M80 curse, but I think M80 is the better team. And then Genji 4-3 Moist. I think that's actually going to be really close. Now SSG has to play G2 again. I'm going to say 4-2, and then TSM probably 0-4. And who do I have as the champion between the top 2 obvious teams in North America? I'm going to give it to G2. It could go really either way. But I mean, this is just a pretty standard power rankings. I do think TSM and NRG could get swapped out for one of the other teams, such as OG, Rebellion, even, or Cloud9. It's going to be very close. I think that Regional 1 and Regional 2 are going to look completely different, but I don't know how. So we'll just have to see how things go. But I think that this is actually a fairly standard bracket, only a couple of little upsets. But we'll have to see. Hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to go like and subscribe if you made it all through the video, because I'm assuming that means you actually enjoyed it. And I will see you guys actually probably tomorrow for the bracket stage. So yeah, see you then.